My name is Abigail Esumin Brimpong. I joined the PIC Parenting Inner Tribe last year, 2024 November, and we started active learning from January to date. PIC Parenting simply means positive, intentional, conscious parenting. The aim of Coach Ekia and her team is for every parent to be positive, intentional, and conscious in raising up their children to be wholesome and making meaningful impact in society. Some of my key take-homes from Inner Tribe is that parenting is a journey of learning and growth. There is a saying that you can't give what you don't have. So what I mean by learning and growth is that we as parents need to first model that positive behaviors and values for our children to learn from them. Parents must also heal from their childhood traumas so they can raise the children from a point of wholeness. I've also learned that children thrive on systems and routines. So by giving the children age-appropriate tasks to perform, prepares them to handle responsibilities with due diligence, and it also encourages independence. PIC Parenting in the Inner Tribe has also taught me to build connections with my children, and it comes with a lot of fun activities, where as parents we engage in connection activities with the children on a daily family meetings we have. This has also helped myself and then my husband to know more about what's going on in our children's life, and through these knowledges that we gather, we are able to provide the right encouragement, teaching and advice to the children. In the Inner Tribe, we also have books that we read on bi-monthly or quarterly basis to expand our knowledge and to change certain mindsets we have about raising children. Our weekly webinar are also an icing on the cake, bringing to bear parenting styles and approaches to raise wholesome children in our society. So looking at all these benefits and more, I encourage parents, teachers, and anyone who engages with children to participate in this program. Thank you.
For Alpha. What if your child didn't just pass exams but became the leader Ghana is waiting for? Alpha Kids Mentorship is a 12-month transformation where your child masters 5 pillars: leadership, academic excellence, home responsibility, emotional wellness, and career readiness. Every Sunday, experts guide them in small groups online. Monday through Friday, you, the parent, become your child's coach with simple 30-minute activities we provide. No stress, no guesswork, just connection and growth. Your child gets books, materials, recognition, and a community of families pursuing excellence together. While other children waste hours on screens, your child is being shaped into someone extraordinary. We started with 50 children. By popular demand, we've expanded to 100. 50 more spots just opened, but only those who enroll by November 30th get the early investment rate of 2,000 Ghana cedis. After that, it goes back to the original price, 3,000 Ghana cedis. Your parenting stress? Reduced. Your child becomes more responsible and independent. You get valuable progress reports, 12 life-changing monthly books, and exclusive Alpha Kids t-shirts, weekly Zoom workshop, community projections, exciting monthly events, and a prestigious year-end awards ceremony. All for just 2,000 cedis, down from 3,000. Secure your child's slots now with just 100 cedis. Pay the rest by November 30th. This is your moment. Call or send a message to 053451 5541. 053451 5541. Limited to 50 kids, age 5 to 16. First come, first transformed. Your child deserves this head start. 50 slots, ask now.
And a proud member of the PIC Inner Tribe. I was privileged to be part of the few who decided to enroll in this program. I heard about it during the Maiden Parents Conference of the PIC Academy. At the end of the conference, after gaining so much knowledge on parenting, when the PIC Inner Tribe was introduced, I told myself that I would definitely want to be part of this. And so I was ready to do whatever it took to be part of it. And in fact, what was required to be part of it was just chicken change, because the experience in there is worth millions and millions and billions of cedis. I am not exaggerating. The Inner Tribe has been a blessing to me and to my family. It is a place where parents are urged on to raise and nurture responsible children who will grow up to transform generations. The Inner Tribe has coaches who are seasoned, well-seasoned coaches who have the patience, though they are so knowledgeable, they have the patience to groom every parent to become who God requires him or her to be. I got to know about the Inner Tribe, and I think it is a blessing that God gave to me, because I was facing challenges in parenting, and I'm one person who always looks out for the best for my children. I believe that the society becomes a better place when we have well-raised children to take up responsibility as adults. And so I have always wanted a safe place to receive safe and sound direction on how to raise children. And I tell you, the Inner Tribe is the place for that. There are daily connection activities. There are weekly seminars. There are activities to do. We read books that pertains to so many aspects of parenting and a whole lot. It is a place that you cannot be and then be a passive parent. My life has changed simply because I became a triber, and I will not trade that for anything. Any opportunity I have to enroll again as a triber, I will be the first to be there, because the experience there is life-changing. I urge every parent here to enroll as an Inner Tribe member, to receive sound direction, to be helped, to be supported. We have coaches who go all out. They are readily available to help us tackle any problem we face as parents. We are not only trained in the area of child upbringing, but even as parents, we are also trained to imbibe discipline, to focus on our parenting journey, financial prudence, every other aspect that is required to be the parents that you are expected to be. It is taught in the Inner Tribe. We are not done yet, but the way things are going in there, it even shapes you as a wife, as a career woman, as a manager, wherever you are. As you enroll in the Inner Tribe, you realize that you receive wisdom, you receive tutelage to enable you perform better in any area of your life. In less than 1 year of enrolling in the Inner Tribe, the transformation I see in my children and even in myself is tremendous. It is incredible. I realize that my children now follow the routines that we have set together as a family. My parenting journey has become much easier. And then I have now come to agree that, in fact, a lot of the things we go through as parents is simply because we ourselves are not ready. We are not trained for the parenting journey, and we only vent our anger on the children. And so, kind courtesy the Inner Tribe, my home is now a no caning, no spanking, no yelling zone. And meanwhile, everything works as planned. We did not get there in a day. We had daily connection activities that, in my estimation, I do not know where we're heading towards with those connection activities. But as they all came together, I now came to understand the saying of our coaches always, that once you are well connected to your child, whatever you say, whatever you ask them to do, they do it with ease. It is very true. The experience in the inner tribe cannot be talked about in a few minutes. You need to experience it to understand what we are talking about. It is a place to be. I would urge every parent, no matter the sacrifice it will take to be part of this inner tribe, if only you want to raise generational giants, if you want to raise well-rounded children who are equipped in every aspect of their lives, children who can take up responsibility, children who change the status quo, then I urge you to enroll as an inner triber, and I bet you your life will never be the same.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone. How has it been so far? How has it been so far? Let us see your comments in the comment section. How the session 1, session 2, how has it been for you? This is our third session for day 2, and we are going to look at 10 foundational habits every child needs before age 10. Yes, when the foundations are strong. When the foundations are strong, they can really stand. When you are building a mansion, you know that you have to really take care of the foundation. You know that you don't do just anything. When you are just building any house at all, you can do just anything because you know that this isn't a mansion. Even when anything happens, it's not going to do anything. So you don't really focus any attention there. You just build any house. But when you know that I'm building a mansion, I'm building a house, a home that will really stand tall someday, that even when the storm happens, that even when there are heavy rains, there are things that are serious, it will still stand. You don't do anything. So what are the foundations? You focus on the foundation and build a strong foundation. That is where we are heading towards now in our next session. So about the inner tribe, we have the inner tribe program where we guide parents through a 1-year journey. We believe that parenting is a process. You need to be in a system that will hold you accountable, because you can go online, you can go and learn, study all of the things, but if there is no system that is holding you accountable, you do just anything. You try this tomorrow, you come back and then you do something else. But when you are in a system that holds you accountable, a system that is holding your hands, teaching you what to do at every point in time, you know that, okay, this is where I am and this is on the journey that I am embarking on. So I encourage every parent inside the inner tribe. You get weekly webinars. We have daily connection activities that you do with your kids to connect more with them. When you are connected with your children, you will be able to guide them. They will listen to you. They will know that whatever you are teaching them, whenever even you give them a consequence, they know that it is from a place of love and not just to punish them. And you are also given worksheets. You have guides that will also help you with implementation. There is accountability. You are not left alone. We hold your hands. We ensure that you are implementing. We have a system because we believe that when you focus on the process and when you build systems around it, you are able to have predictable results. So that is what we do in the inner tribe. And I urge every parent here to be in the tribe, to be in the system, so that we can all together raise a whole new generation that will really transform this country. Okay, so awesome. I asked the question in the last session, but you didn't see it. So please, can you ask the question again? Can you ask the question again? Yes, so I entreat all of us to join. Okay, please ask the question again so that we can look at it for you. Thank you so much. So whilst we are waiting for the next speaker, we are starting in just 3 minutes. So kindly put the question up again so that we can look at it for you. We are starting soon, the next session, building that foundation. Every child. So if your child is, below 10, just sing praises to God. Sing praises. So, and even if they are, 10, above 10, you will still need these sessions because you still need to go back and build that foundation so that the child will still stand firm. I believe you are good. I'm waiting for the question. I haven't seen them now. So kindly ask the question again so that we can look at it for you. We have 2 minutes to the next session. How has it been? How has it been? A session for raising girls with purpose. How was it? How? What have you taken out from that session that we had? And what are you implementing now? You need to be able to know what you are going to do differently henceforth. You can't just be doing the things that you were doing. If you know the kind of child you want to raise, you do something different. You don't, raise your child the same way people are raising their children. You don't follow the trend. You don't say, for kids, if I don't really, really beat her, it's not about beating. It's about building systems that will help you raise children who are responsible, raise children who grow to become very disciplined. And that is what it's about in the inner tribe. So thank you so much. And let's go and listen to the bio of our next speaker.
And teen mentor with over a decade of experience, shaping young minds and inspiring purposeful living. She is the founding director of Lenville Crest Academy in Uyo, a school committed to unleashing the genius in every child and raising disciplined, value-driven learners who combine excellence with character. As founder of Learning, an education innovation company, Precious leads initiatives that promote access to quality learning through digital education and school development programs. She is also the convener of the Academic Excellence Conference, a platform that empowers teenagers to embrace purpose, integrity, and responsibility as pathways to true success. Widely known as the family teacher, Precious has built a strong reputation for helping parents and educators nurture confident learners and intentional young people. Her passion now extends to guiding teenagers to discover their identity, develop life skills, and lead with purpose. A devoted wife and mother, Precious brings warmth, authenticity, and faith into everything she does. Through her speaking engagements, mentorship programs, and school leadership, she continues to transform lives, inspiring families, educators, and young people to rise and shine as agents of positive change. Pick parents, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome on stage Mrs. Precious James Ogbonna.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. I trust you can all hear me. Hi, Aqua. Please, could you confirm in the private chat that you can hear me? That would really help me kickstart. And then, if I could have my slide, I would really appreciate it. Good afternoon, everybody. I trust, okay, you can hear me. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I would like to say a big thank you to the conveners of this conference. Thank you very much. I'd like to say a big thank you to the conveners of this conference for the opportunity to speak with you all today. It is with deep honor and appreciation that I find myself here today. So I'd like to start by saying again, thank you so much and well done. Well done on the amazing, phenomenal work that has gone into organizing this conference for the parents who are lucky and blessed to attend. You know, when Aqua reached out to me and she sent my topic, the 10 foundational skills every child needs before age 10, I was amazed at the topic because I believe that if we understand how much, or rather, if we understand the role this topic plays in raising children, in raising children who would have an advantage, in raising children who will thrive in the world, in raising children who will not need to helicopter parent around them, then understanding these foundational skills are key and important. Now, let me have my next slide. I'd like to start this conversation in a very unconventional way. Now, what is the unconventional way I would like to start this conversation with? It is a concept that has been eating me up in very recent times. Now, my bio stated that I currently am the founding director of a school, and as an educationist and a curriculum developer, I found myself asking the question: this content that I'm exposing the children within my for the world that they are going to explore and navigate in? This is one question I have not been able to fully unravel. The parenting that we are doing, the information that we are providing to the children, the values, the skills that we are inculcating in these children, how do these things ensure that our children are able to thrive in the world that they are going to get into? There's a popular quote that keeps me up at night. It is that we are raising children for a world we have no inkling about. Now, let's look at a very typical example and a very typical situation, or rather a scenario. Let's think back to the COVID year. That was 2019, 2020. Now, add 5 years and try to flash your mind around the crazy things that have happened development-wise from 2020 to 2025. Think about how much change has happened within this very short period of time. Now, think about it and think about, imagine you have a 1-year-old. Think about when they're going to be 21, when they're going to be fully adults. How well are we equipping them for this age? Now, in 5 years, one of the things that has taken the world by a storm was AI. In 2020, AI was still in the most preliminary stage. I remember part of my work as a creative. So I had to start, I was among the early users of AI. Then we didn't have ChatGPT, we didn't have Gemini, and on all the AI we have right now. We had what we called WordTune, and I think one other one that we used to write and edit and all of that. Now that was the preliminary stage. If I compare what we have 5 years after with what we had then, it's a complete difference. Everybody please follow me. Now, if we now bring this back to the values of the world, to the development of the world in 5 years, the people in 2020 cannot recognize the 2025 we have as regards values, as regards propaganda, as regards development, as regards technology. Now, if in 5 years the world has changed, imagine what will happen in 20 years if you had a 1-year-old. Imagine what would happen in 15 years if you had a 5-year-old. Imagine what would happen in 10 years if you had a 10-year-old. Now, ask yourself this very important question. Am I parenting my child for a world that does not exist? And when my child gets into that world, what skills do they need? What skills will enable them thrive? What skills will ensure that they have the competitive advantage? That is the question this session is going to answer to you today. Now, up on the screen, I have something that says that did you know that 85% of jobs will not exist? Please, can you help me go back to that slide, please? Did you know that 85% of the jobs that will exist in 2030 haven't been invented yet? a good percentage of the jobs that exist today were not here 5 years ago. Now, in 2020, futurists are proposing that there is going to be a total overhaul of the world as we see it today. Now, this is actually for the job sector. It is for employment. But the same way it is for the job sector for employment, that's the same way it is going to be. That is the same way it is going to be for every other facet of life. So what I come here to do is simple. Next slide, please. It is to show you how important these skills are. Now, this 85% is not just a prediction. It represents the scale of technological value and social change that will happen. If 85% of the future job market is unknown, how are we preparing our children for this unknown world? How are we preparing our children for this unknown job market? Now, excuse me, I am only using these statistics to show you a bigger picture. It is not limited to the job market. It is not limited to the job market. What this is just showing us is an inkling of the change that is about to happen in the world. So we will have to shift the gear of our parenting if we're going to raise children who will be outliers. We're going to have to change the gear of our parenting if we're going to raise children who will rule their world and not become the ruled. Now, let's look at another striking information that has also kept me up at night as both a parent and someone who's in the educational sector. It is the report of the World Economic Future of Jobs. It specifically tracks what companies are actually asking for in the face of this very uncertainty. Now, when companies, we're talking about the Fortune 500 companies, when they want to employ people, the criteria is no longer restricted to grades. It is no longer restricted to IQ, intelligence quotient. It is no longer restricted to a person or an individual's CGPA. There are other skills that are the top reflection of what these guys are looking for. So what is it telling us right now? That there are skills that are a necessity. There are skills that are a currency in the 21st century economy and generally in the 21st century world. Now, I am not saying that you should run around and say, oh my God, I need to build analytical thinking, creative thinking, oh, resilience, oh, this. No. What I'm here to do is to arm you with tools to ensure, this takes me back to my starting statement, that your child can compete in the global world. Now, the topic again says 10 foundational skills before the age of 10. Now, why did we cap it at the age of 10? Now, the number 10 is not necessarily an arbitrarily cut off. The reason why we're capping it at 10 is because there is a neuroscience research that backs it. And it is simple that the brain development that occurs between the birth and age 8 is the most rapid in a person's lifetime. The brain development that occurs between the age of birth and the age 8 to 10 is the most rapid. The synaptic connections, these are the connections that happen in the brain that enables us to have skills. These connections happen at a rapid age, more than it happens in any other time in life. Now, it is found that in neuroscience that a child is born with all the neurons, billions of neurons. And it is these neurons that form connections. It is these neurons that form synaptic connections that enables a child to have skills. Now, when a child gets to the age of 6, 7, 8, the brain begins to do what is called pruning. What happens in pruning? The brain begins to delete the neurons that have not been used. This is why, as early childhood experts, we call the first 5, 6, 7, 8 years the formative years. These are the years you parent as a neurosculptor. So you're taking your child's brain to the power of their existence, and like a sculptor, you are intentionally navigating, you are intentionally curating, you are intentionally building the synaptic connections that ensures that your child has the advantage. So I have just established that the age 10 is not just an arbitrary number. Oh, okay, let's do seven skills before age 7. Nah, the age 10 is backed by neuroscience. So by the age of 10, you should have ensured. So what this means and entails is that if you have a 1-year-old, you should have started doing something. If you have a 2-year-old, you should have started doing something. If you have a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old, you should have started doing something. You should have started building these skills. Now, let's now delve right into the skills so that I don't take more than my time. For these skills, I have divided them into 3 key pillars. Let's say it together, everybody. We have the mind. So let me hear you say mind. We have the heart, and we have the hand. Now, these core skills are divided into these 3 key pillars. The first 3 skills sit in the mind. It is the part of the brain that is responsible for planning, thinking, decision-making, and self-control. Right? Now, that is the first 3 skills, and we find them under the mind. So let's go to the first skill. Now, under the mind, we have the executive functioning and cognitive skills. Can I have somebody write it in the comment section? We have the executive functioning and the cognitive skills. Now, what is the executive functioning? Let me break it down in the simplest way. This is the mental processes that makes the difference between a child who can manage life and a child who constantly struggles. I say it again. Executive functioning is the mental processes that makes the difference between a child who can manage life and a child who constantly struggles. And the first skill under mind is a self-regulation skill. Everybody, let me see us write it in the comment section. A self-regulation skill. At the heart of the vices young children face, at the heart of the struggles and the challenges that young children face, is found in the lack of impulse control. Now, what is impulse control? Impulse control is that skill that helps you regulate yourself. Impulse control is that ability that helps you pause, that helps you reflect on a certain action. And this action is what decides whether you do something positive or negative. Now, the part of the brain in charge of impulse control is not developed in childhood. A very typical example is a child, probably a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old going to fire. These guys don't understand the consequences of fire. They can't control themselves. That is the part of impulse control. And the reason why a lot of people, adults, find themselves in financial issues, find themselves in debt, find themselves in addiction, it is found in the lack of self-control, self-regulation, impulse control. If there is one skill, you would ask me, Coach P, what skill should my child take away from this session? My dear parents, please go back and start building self-regulation. impulse control today. Little wonder why one of the fruits of the spirit is self-control. If we categorize the fruit of spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, temperance, we will find that they can be summarized in self-control. The ability for an individual to control their desires, because the truth is, man will have wild desires. But what helps an individual control it? What helps an individual hold themselves back? Is self-control, it is impulse control. Now, let me give you a little research. In 1960, a group of psychologists in Stanford University came up with the marshmallow experiment. Now, what happened in the marshmallow experiment? They brought a group of preschoolers. They put them down and they gave them marshmallows. But they said, look, guys, I'm going to give you one marshmallow. But if you come back in 15 minutes and you don't eat the marshmallow, I will give you more marshmallows. Guys, now this is where it gets interesting. There were no consequences. The only deal of the research was, if you don't eat the marshmallow, I will give you more. But if you eat it, it's okay. So they go wait for 15 minutes. After years, they went back to check that same group of children and they found something shocking. Follow me, guys. They found something shocking. What did they find? They found out that the children who could wait, the children who waited to get more marshmallows, were doing better in life, in academics, in relationships, in their finances. And the success of the group of preschoolers, remember, these were preschoolers, children between the ages of 5 to 8. The success was not really linked that this person ate marshmallow, but that person did not eat marshmallow. That was not the conversation. The conversation was that these guys that could control themselves, they knew how to regulate themselves. So when it was time to study, they could control themselves to study. When it was time to motivate themselves, they could motivate themselves. This takes us back to skill one. Everybody, let's say it together: self-regulation. It is essentially a child abuse before reacting. Manage impulse. Sustain attention on a task. Choose a thoughtful response instead of an emotional implode or an impulsive one. Now, self-control is the mental brake system of the brain. The same way you're driving and you need the brake to hold yourself. Oh, there's an onward coming car, I need to hold my brake. That is what self-control is for an individual. Children who regulate themselves can handle challenges without melting down. They complete tasks even when bored or frustrated. Like I told you, I see it every day. Children who are disciplined, children who are self-regulated, children who can control impulses, at the end of the term, it shows in the grades. In the workplace, it is also shown that these individuals are more consistent, more resilient under stress, reliable performance, and have emotional maturity. So, let's now go to what can I do to begin to build self-regulation. Number one, begin to delay gratification. I will not spend a lot of time to explain. Just on your own, go and research. Because if I had to tell you what to do to further build these things, then we will not live here today, guys. So I'll just list a couple of them on your own. Okay, we'll get to that conversation later. I hope this is valuable for you guys. I hope this is valuable for you. If it's valuable, let me see you in the comment section. Okay, so begin to delay gratification. Intentionally delay gratification. Intentionally delay gratification. Teach your children to control their emotions. Teach them to control their emotions. You, the parent, model self-control. You can't be binge watching, binge eating. You literally have no control of yourself and you want your children to be able to control themselves. It is not possible, guys. It's impossible. Impossible. Aqua, how do I say it in Twi? How do I say it in your language? It is impossible. It's impossible. Totally impossible, guys. So that is skill number one: self-control, self-regulation, impulse control, and focus. Now, this takes us to the next skill: Please, can we move to the next skill? Can we move to the next skill? The next skill, which is a very important skill, is critical thinking and problem solving. Can I see it in the comment section? Critical thinking and problem solving. This is essentially the ability to analyze, understand cause and effect, ask good questions, make logical connections, think beyond the surface. If you're going to raise a child who's going to be able to create, the world your children are getting into, it is the creator's economy. The world that our children are going to be, we are already in that world right now. But the world your children are going to grow up into, we call that world the creator's economy. The people who will win in the world your children are getting into, the individual who will thrive in the world your children are getting into, they are going to be the creators. People who are able to catch the glimpse of a picture and run with it, those are the people that will be the outliers of the world. So, if you're going to raise a creator child, if you're going to raise a child who is able to find problems in the society, create solutions to those problems in the society, and at the same time, monetize their solutions, then this skill number 2 is so important. And that is the skill of critical thinking and problem solving. Now, the World Economic Forum ranks analytical thinking and critical thinking as the top 2 skills employers demand globally. If you're an employer here, you know the bliss of having individuals who just know how to think. People who can think, evaluate, and innovate. It is a skill. It could give your child an advantage. Just the simple ability to solve problems without being prompted, to adapt quickly and easily, to make decisions between X and Y, to understand consequences. This is important. So right now, ask yourself, is my child able to think critically? Is my child able to think critically? How do you know a child who's able to think critically? They are able to ask why. They ask how. They ask what. They ask if. They ask questions. If you're a parent here and you shut up your child, oh, please shut up. You ask too much questions. Look at you. Look at you on your way to raise a thumbs. Oh my God, that wasn't nice. But that's the truth. If you are a parent here, and what you do is to shut your child up at every juncture, you are on your way to raising a dunce. And guess the truth. Howbeit it might be rough and harsh, the world has no place for dunces. If you're going to raise a child who is going to tap into the creator economy, you must build critical thinking. Critical thinking and analytical thinking is the difference between people who tap into the creator economy and people who do not tap into the creator economy. So, what do you do to build critical thinking? My number 1 hack is to encourage boredom. Encourage boredom. One of the greatest misgivings of parents in the 21st century is that we are too engrossed. We are too engrossed with entertaining our children. We have gone beyond parenting to becoming entertainers. Oh, my child is bored. What can my child do? Leave them to be bored. Do you know how creative a child can become if you just allow them to interact with the environment? To come up with, you don't know how creative a child could be? Leave them to their own devices. of course, in a child-proof environment. Just leave them to their own devices. They will come up with things. I came across this reel on Instagram of this guy who had just finished law school, and he was kind of sharing about his parenting, his parents and their parenting style. And he came up with the thing that he didn't get access to screens. He didn't get access to screens. They were not allowed to watch the TV. They were given a lot of boredom time. And as I watched those things, I was like, wow, these guys' parents know something that a lot of parents do not know. These guys' parents, oh boy, they know something that tons of parents do not know. Allow your children the creative space to express their genius. Stop being a helicopter parent. Take this, take that. It's important. Of course, give them intentional screen time. Give them intentional play time, open play, structured play, and all of those beautiful things. But at the same time, allow them to become creative with themselves and with themselves. Then, of course, ask questions. Ask questions. Give your children the opportunity to explore their natural environment. Encourage them to think. I have a tool that I teach parents. It is the "What do you think" tool. Two tools. Number one, what do you think? Number two, everything is figure outable. Mommy, why do you figure it out? Oh, mommy, what do you think? Your children must be able to come up with solutions on them by themselves before you're spoon feeding them with the solutions. So I'm teaching you two skills. Number one, everything is figure outable. Oh, mommy, help me tie my shoes. You can figure it out. And this is as early as age 2. Oh, mommy, this. What do you think? Allow your children think. Those when we think of building these skills, I'm sure you're thinking, oh my God, it sounds so bogus. It sounds so humongous. Oh my God, it looks as if I have to become a parenting coach. It's not that hard. It's hard, but at the same time, it's not that hard. It's as simple as, like I said, seizing every spontaneous parenting moment. Building these skills is not necessarily what you call a family meeting. Today, we are going to build critical thinking. What did I say? Critical thinking. Excuse me. What did I say? No, that's not when you build it. You build it in the spur of the moment. You build it in the everyday interaction you're having with your child. You build it in the little windows of opportunities that show up in our everyday interaction as parents. So that is it for skill number 2, critical thinking. Let's move to skill number 3. Skill number 3, prioritization. Skill number 3, prioritization and time management. Now, this skill is going to be the difference. We've talked about self-regulation. We've talked about critical thinking. As we move along, I would like you to look at that there is a relationship between these skills. There is a steady relationship. There is a steady relationship from self-control to critical thinking and problem solving, now to prioritization. There is a link to these skills. So if you're intentional about building one, you can build the second, you can build the third, you can build the fourth, and so on. So this takes us to time management. It is essentially the ability to understand time, plan, estimate, organize, and identify what matters most. I was listening to Olakunle Shorion some time ago, about 2 weeks ago, and he was saying that one of the skills that parents are going to need and individuals are going to need, I say parents because that's my niche, but if one skill that people and individuals are going to need in the world that we're getting into from the 2030s is distraction management. Why is that? There has never been a time in the history of the world that individuals had the amount of options that we have today. There has never been a time in the history of the world that individuals and people are encumbered with lots of decisions to make at the same time. There has never been a time. When in the 90s, if you wanted to hear the news, you buy newspaper. You have to stand up. You go to the newsstand. You buy newspaper. You come back. You flip through. Right now, you don't have to go search for the news to come to you. There are apps that will just show it to you. I shared something on my Facebook the other day. I was saying that the social media that we have, the reason that a lot of people struggle with social media and struggle with screen, and they're like, oh my God, I'm weak, I'm always on my phone. My sisters and brethren, it's not your fault. The owners and the founders and the executives of these social media companies have psychologists, professors on their payroll, and their responsibility is to design every social media network to keep you scrolling. They don't keep you there to learn. That is why we can all be honest, if we can all pledge to honesty, there are times that you have gone on social media, you just want to do one thing. But when you realize yourself, you've gone 2 hours scrolling from this video to the next video, to the next video, to the next video, to the next video, to the next video. So if there is any skill that our children are going to need, it is the skill to manage time. It is the skill to prioritize. Now, in the workplace, employees who know how to manage time, they don't miss their deadlines, they don't underperform, and they don't burn out easily. Now, time management and prioritization doesn't start in adulthood. It begins with childhood. Yes, please.
We have 10 minutes more for you to end your section.
Thank you so much. We'll fly out from there. Okay, so we are at time management and prioritization. So I was saying that in the workplace, or rather, time management doesn't start in adulthood. The reason why tons of adults struggle with time management is that we begin to build time management from adulthood. This is why I find that a lot of people who went to boarding schools, not everybody, but a lot of people who agree that they went to boarding schools have a better grasp of time than those who grew up in homes without routines. Why? Because boarding schools were guarded with routines and systems. Every waking time was accounted for. So now, after you're there for 6 years, 3 years, you understand prioritization. You understand the routinization of your time. This is the same thing you should begin to build in your home if you're going to raise children who understand time management. Build routines. This is the number one hack. Build routines. Tell the children about the routines. Create visual reminders of these routines. Now, let's move to the next skill. We're just going to run through these skills as fast as we can in the next, I think, 9 minutes at this point. Skill number 4, emotional intelligence. Everybody say after me, emotional intelligence. Now, we're not talking about the heart. At first, we talked about the mind. Now we're talking about the heart. The heart talks about emotional and social intelligence. And the first skill under the heart, that is the heart pillar, is emotional intelligence and empathy. This is simply identifying one's emotions accurately, understanding the emotions of others, managing feelings appropriately, and responding with empathy and compassion. Now, this is important because it helps us to form friendships, handle conflict better, reduce tantrums, build confidence, feel understood and connected. Now, a Yale research shows that children with high EQ perform better academically and socially than children who do not have a high EQ. So one of the skills you should also be building is emotional intelligence. How do you teach it to your children? Teach them to understand, identify, and label their emotions. How do you feel? There is a whole wheel of emotions I forgot to add to this slide that talks about several emotions, more than happy, sad, angry. There's overwhelmed. There are tons of emotions. These are legit feelings, and children must be able to identify it and name it. then of course validate their feelings. Validate their feelings. Teach them to control it. When you identify your feeling, how are you able to control that feeling? Very important skill. Like I said, I will not have all the time to teach you what to do, but as you identify this skill, as an intentional parent, go back to understand what you can begin to do to build the skills. Fifth skill is effective communication. Have you noticed that in today's world, more CEOs, more founders are becoming the face of their businesses more than any other time in the business world before? Before, people could rely on ambassadors, they could rely on advertising. Businesses did not need to. Businesses did not need to front their owners and their founders. But right now, we're finding, case in point, Dangote. Dangote has founded the Dangote refinery, but that guy has been in our faces more than any time before. Before the Dangote refinery, please follow me, he had built the Dangote cement, the Dangote sugar, and all of that. We didn't see him in our faces up until the Dangote refinery. What that shows us is the power of communication. If you're going to raise a child who will thrive, guys, effective communication and social intelligence will be at your arsenal. It must be one skill you are building. Thought leadership, communication, personal branding, all of these are the skills that are required and necessary for today's world. How are you building it in your child? How is your child learning to listen before they speak? How are they learning to express themselves and express their needs clearly? Are they learning to ask questions? Do they understand verbal and non-verbal cues? What can you do to raise children who are outspoken, children who can communicate? Let your children learn to express themselves. It's as simple as that. If your child is going to be able to communicate as they move along, they must be able to express themselves. Next skill is self-advocacy and speaking up. You see this skill, this one, I will call it a survival skill. Self-advocacy and speaking up. A child who learns to self-advocate will know how to ask for help. A child who learns to self-advocate and speak up will learn how to protect their boundaries. A child who knows how to advocate for themselves and speak up will be able to speak confidently to authority, but still with respect. They will not be bullied. They will not be traumatized. They will not be abused from a very young age. Teach your children. Teach them to ask questions. Teach them to speak up for themselves. It's as simple in the restaurant. What do you want to eat? Make your order yourself. Remember, I told you. Have the skill of identifying very simple windows of opportunities. Very simple windows of opportunities. It's as simple as you are the hospital. Your head is aching you. Rather than saying, "Oh, this is my child," if they complain, say the head they can say. Instead of saying, it's as simple as saying, "You tell the doctor." It's that simple. It's as simple as encouraging them to speak to authority when there is a need for them to do that. Skill number 7, resilience and adaptability. Resilience is a 21st century skill. We have resilience, we have anti-fragility, we have adaptability, and we have grit. You see these skills? Very important. You cannot, the world we are raising our children is a wild, wild west. There are mad people on the streets. There are crazy people out there. You can't raise a lily-livered child, my parent. You cannot. I beg you. Begin to build resilience, adaptability, strength from home. You see, this could be the best thing you could ever do for your child. Intentionally begin to build anti-fragility. We have too many, you can't raise a fragile child and life is going to throw curveballs. Your responsibility is to build their strength before those curveballs come. That's it for resilience and adaptability. I'll just list the other skills, the last couple of skills. Basic financial literacy. We now have it under the hand pillar. Basic financial literacy. I've been doing a personal research, a very personal research. And I found out that a lot of young people who make their first bulk money end up losing it. I don't know if you've thought about it before, but a lot of mentors are going to tell you that the first time I made my first bulk money, I couldn't manage it. I got carried away. Look, guys, you cannot build financial literacy in an adult. Or rather, let me structure that statement. You cannot wait to build financial literacy when your child is an adult. By the time you would want to start building those skills, it might honestly be too late at that point. Honestly be too late. So please, one of the skills is financial literacy. It is as simple as teaching them to delay gratification. It is as simply as having a policy, a family policy against impulse buying. That's one thing I hold strong in my home. Oh, we get to the mall. Oh, mommy, I need X, Y, Z, W, W, X, Y, W, X. My sister, we did not plan for it, so you cannot get it. You get it? I believe you get it. Number 9, basic cooking and meal preparation. Basic cooking and meal preparation. And number 10. Oh, there are beautiful skills your child can get just from basic cooking. Confidence, responsibility, sequencing skills, independence, motor, math, and literacy skills from basic cooking and independence. Then the last one is self-care and hygiene. You can't raise an outlier who is okay. At this point, I hope I've been able to how's that the say it again? I've been able to convince you and not confuse you. So the last thing that I have to say to us today. Oh, Aqua, do I still have time or do we cut it off here? Thank you so much. I would really love to stick to my time. Thank you so much. Or do I end with this? Let me know, please.
Yeah, hello, Coach P. Your time is actually up. Kindly use 2 minutes to round up. 2 minutes.
Oh, you're very liberal. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to end this conversation with the scaffolder and the scaffolder and model framework. What does this mean? I know you're asking yourself the question, oh my God, this lady has just come here and she has discombobulated me with a lot of skills. Where do I start? Do I do self-regulation? Oh, financial literacy. Oh, my child cannot take care of themselves. Rather than running helter-skelter, I'll teach you this simple model that helps you. It is the scaffolder and the model framework. Your job as a parent is not to be the sergeant who's policing your child. Oh, you cannot do this. Oh, you cannot do this. Your job is to be the scaffolder and model. Scaffolder too. The scaffolder provides just enough to support and prevent failure, but not so much that the child doesn't have to struggle. Then the model provides a picture of possibility. Your children are always watching. So you can either teach these skills by providing support, or you can teach these skills by providing a mirror of possibilities, providing a model that they can watch and emulate from. This, in a very short sentence, is how you can begin to build the skills. Thank you so much to Aqua and the team at the Peak Parents Academy. I really appreciate the opportunity given to me, and I hope this was valuable to you all. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Coach P. Thank you so much for this amazing session. I believe we've learned a lot. 10 powerful foundational habits that every child will need before age 10. If you're a parent who have a child below age 10, you are lucky, just lucky to have this information to be able to, use in your parenting. It's very, very necessary. Thank you so much, Coach P. We honor you. We don't take your time for granted. And thank you so much for coming here to also teach us. Thank you so much. Enjoy an amazing day.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we are ending our session here and we are going to start quickly with the next session. So see you all in another session. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you share the link as well to other parents so that they can also join and learn as we are doing now. See you in the next session.